Today is March 23rd. We performed 18.5 on site, which is a repeat of 11.6 and 12.5. It is a 7-minute AMRAP, 3, 3, 6, 6, 9, 9, 12, 12, increasing by threes of thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups. Thruster weight is 165. We are going to go out, we're going to do commentary over Noah's execution of the workout. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to give some tips after observing what I saw. Keep an eye out on our YouTube page for another video that we're going to release before the end of the Open, where I'm going to give some closing thoughts to wrap up the Open, and we might do commentary over Travis's 18.5 as well. Go.
All right.
He is
closing out the Open.
Thrusters.
Noah Ohlsen, 18.5.
The best part about this was the entire lead up to the start of this workout. All everybody was talking about was how fast the daughters went out in the workout. And I'm pretty sure you were faster than them.
Really? I really thought that I was pacing it. Like, to me, when you said I went out fast, I was like, no, I didn't rush. And so to me, not going fast is not like rushing to the bar, right? So I finished the pull-ups, and then I kind of like walk to the bar and take a breath. To me, that means I'm not going fast.
A little fast.
But I mean, it was really good. I just thought it was funny.
I know it was.
And I almost yelled, slow down. You said you didn't want to go
But
fast.
it is interesting to me because I felt like I was under control. Like I felt smooth. But see, walk back, breathe, jump up. As opposed to if it were just Fran, I would like those transitions would have been rushed and faster. So
I think the bar for you could have been a little closer.
Why do you think that?
Your
I'm kidding.
cadence is
Really fast.
pretty quick.
What are we even on right now?
You're on the 9.
You started the 12s.
Yeah, this is the 12.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah. No,
So-
really? Yeah.
I kind of did the math on it, and the around the 3:30 mark, which is halfway through the clock last night, the girls were at the 18 thruster. They had just finished the 18 thrusters at the 3:30 mark, and I thought that was funny because after that you really only have the set of 21 and then maybe the set of 24, but you still have half of your time left to do just that, what looks like one set, even though it's kind of equivalent to
They were done
else.
with the pull-ups of 18?
The thrusters of 18
Oh,
at 3:30.
So there were still 18 pull-ups, then 21, 21.
Right.
Got it.
So I don't know, but it just looked like not that much work to be done with quite a bit of time left at the end, and I kind of thought the same thing for myself. Man, if I can make it to the 3:30 mark and be somewhere in the middle of the 18s, then I have a good amount of time to just do a set of 21 thrusters and pull-ups.
I like that Mike, while he was judging you, was loosening up his spine, going,
He was getting ready to go.
He's like, whoa.
bobbing up and down.
So I had planned on going unbroken through the 12, and then I wanted to keep the thrusters unbroken all the way until the round of 21. That was the first set I was going to break the thrusters. And I was going to start breaking the pull-ups. I think here at the 15s, I was going to go 9 and 6. So I was able to maintain my pull-up plan, but my thrusters at 18s, I had to put the bar down in the middle.
Can we point out quick the guns of our cameraman? That
He was
just
looking
came
pretty
in
solid.
there?
I would say the forearm cut right there.
And the
is-
Happy But Hungry shirt, too. That's
like
good
that
support.
t-shirt,
I like that he supported you and he didn't wear a Travis Hu shirt.
He may or may not have.
No.
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
What do you guys think about my tank top choice?
Oh, it's tank top. It's not tank top Tuesday.
It's not.
Tuesday. It's Friday.
But
I still wear that
To
tank
close
top that
out
has tank top
the
to
open.
say on it. Like,
Yeah, it's a very pump worthy workout. You know, I was like, if I'm gonna bust out the guns for any of these, this is a good one to do it for.
Man, I think if your rest
You
was
just
a
lost some
little
fans.
shorter. There,
all right,
you
hold on,
could've-
wait. So it's 3:30. They were ahead of you. Oh, they were finishing this.
Yes.
So they were still ahead of you.
by a little bit. Yeah, I think so. But I do finish this up pretty much right now. So
Oh, okay.
not by much.
3:37.
Yeah. So
I don't
right
even
here
remember
at
when
this
they
point,
started
halfway.
breaking last night.
I don't know.
I don't remember what my name is.
Max El-Hag. Yeah, so I went 9 and 9 on these pull-ups, and then
No, we're gonna have to watch and see. I forgot.
yeah, I did. Well, what even comes after the 18s? 21.
Hey,
Yeah,
look at that
I broke
overhead
those in
position
half.
by Chris. Man,
Yeah.
dude, you're looking
Solid.
great. You're
Busting
looking
out
great
the
in this
guns
video.
again.
I know.
Oh, you broke this into 3 sets. Oh no, are you done?
No. Yeah, that was just a long lead up because I knew the 21s were going to be tough. And so I ended up going, I think, 12 and 9 here.
Let's find out.
Yeah. Just because 11 and 10. 11 and 10 seemed like, man, if I have 10 on my second set, I
wasn't-
don't know if I can finish. What do you guys think?
Did you lose
I was
count?
actually counting, and then I started
That's
losing
what
count.
that's what I was trying to do.
I was just gonna play it off that I wasn't actually counting.
This makes it official. Where now every
That's
video
12.
where it's been the three of you, you two have ignored Noah.
Pretty much.
What do you mean?
I always say stuff and you guys are like,
What did you say?
He was counting your reps to figure out
I
where you
know.
were.
and he was going 4, 7, 12.
Look, I can't fucking win.
Hey,
These
with the
oh,
language.
Sorry. Well, I can't bleep
Sorry,
win.
Mom.
These people in the comments were like, all you do is give Noah positive and you're mean to Travis. I couldn't deal with
Now
it.
you're ignoring me. You're just mean to both of us.
I'm
No,
leaving.
you're not. You're shit. All right, so 21 pull-ups.
I hate this commentary shit.
This was the second.
He's losing it.
This was the second time. Yeah, you guys just do your thing. So everybody else, this was the second time that my plan didn't go according to plan. I said plan twice. Dang it.
Shh, everybody. Give Noah the floor.
So I wanted to go 11 and 10 on these pull-ups, but I don't know. Something just happened. Something came over me, and I ended up going like 9, 5, something else to finish those up. Thanks, guys. That's all I wanted to say. Why don't you give these people provide some value to people?
I did it in the office.
You got 1 minute.
All right, so less than a minute. I told myself last night that no matter what, in that set of 24 thrusters, you guys are the worst, to just grind it out. Like, it was going to hurt, but go unbroken, and that was where I should have done that, and I didn't. So, can you, all right, for real though, can you do me the favor of here, had I gone unbroken,
Okay.
how many reps would I have gotten? I ended up doing
3,
14 thrusters.
4.
You're like 2 seconds a rep right now. So
So just
if
count my
you
breaks.
had-
1,
7,
2,
8,
3,
9,
4,
10,
5,
11,
6, 7.
13.
Wasn't this where I counted out loud and it was 10 seconds? I forgot.
I forget. But that would have put you, I think, close to 13.
I mean, you could do a set of 24 and
17,
maybe not in 35 seconds.
18.
But I do think somebody will get through these, maybe.
Yeah.
Like one or a couple of people in the world.
How do you guys feel about this last rep? Should it count? Ready? Yes!
No.
Ah, come on.
No.
Please, I did it. I did the work for it. Should be awarded the credit for it.
I really,
So what did
well,
you? How many reps did you get? 11.
No, it's 14 thrusters.
I like that you had a soft fall to your death here versus Mitch's
Mitch's.
Hit the deck.
sniper death.
This actually, though, was the worst that I have felt after any of the open workouts. Just like overall dizziness and pain and blah, blah, blah.
And I will have everybody know that
That
my
was you.
amazing camera work here.
You did say, here, I'm going to show the pull-up bar. There's a 25-pound pull-up bar. Like, wait a second. I don't think that's the case, although I'm out of it. Give me some knuckles.
Where do y'all want to be?
Rigoberto! We're going to Benihana. Can we get little chef's hats there?
So the last workout of every open, to me, is a huge character workout, and I feel like for non-competitors, that is true more than anybody else. Like, by non-competitors, I mean people that knew at the start of the Open that they weren't going to qualify for the next stage, not going to qualify for the Masters qualifier, the team qualifier, or as a team member, or as a regional individual athlete. Just people that wanted to get as high up on the leaderboard as possible. And we all go in with these really high aspirations of best case scenario. And as the workouts go on through week 1 and through week 2 and week 3, we start to have a more realistic picture of where we sit in this year. And for most people, I mean, some people are going to exceed their expectations, but I think it's a relatively human tendency to set our expectations really high and then fight for them. And the truth is, most people don't obtain their goals, and that's an okay thing. But I've seen so many people, it's not just 18.5, because I've actually seen it happen earlier, but people just check out. They aren't where they want to be, and instead of actually doing something that exhibits character, work ethic to finish out the Open, they just kind of give up and don't bring their fight and bring their best effort in because they're upset that they didn't obtain their goal. So, make sure the first thing that you do is you prep your mind state for this workout. You really understand why you're fighting, why you're going to give your best effort, and having that as a concrete thing in your head will give you some sort of a perspective when you're in the workout, when it's hurting, that you're willing to push. If you don't have a reason, if you're like, like it doesn't matter to me if I'm 600th or 800th in the leaderboard, then when push comes to shove and it gets hard in the workout, you are going to throttle back and make yourself comfortable. And that is going to be the biggest detriment to your performance, way more than any of these other tips that I can give. So make sure your mind state is in a place that you're ready to compete. You signed up for a 5-week long competition, and this is week 5. It doesn't end until Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're not willing to fight until then you don't really have a right to be in the competition. So make sure your mind is prepped. For people that are competitors, bubble athletes, if you're on the bubble and you know you're not going to make it, just mathematically, statistically, you're out, and you're not retiring, it's a really important thing to set yourself up at the end of a competition when you're not going to compete again for a longer period of time. I mean, for most people, it's going to be, I'd say at the minimum, 2 months before they hit another competition or another qualifier. You don't want your last experience of competing to be a really negative, crappy execution where you're really not happy with how you executed. So you're setting yourself up for the future. You're setting yourself up for a future competition where you're in adverse situations where things aren't going well and you drop the hammer and finish strong versus backing away from it. So that could be your reason if you're a bubble athlete. Give yourself a chance also, because you don't know how many people on the leaderboard ahead of you are going team. You don't know how many people will get major penalties or maybe get their videos rejected after the regional bids go out. You don't know how many people will just be potentially injured and not accept. So if you're anywhere near, give yourself the best possible chance to get after it. For the regionals, games, and teams people that are in a position that they are okay with, I guess you have to do some math to figure out, like, do you want to get into the final heat? Where do you have to finish? But for those people, I'd say probably for this workout, if you're already in a good spot, I wouldn't repeat it. Like, if you put up a good score on your first one, you don't really need to fight at this point. Make sure all your reps are clean, make sure your video's really dialed in, and just set yourself up for the next stage of the competition. That doesn't mean don't go into it trying to do your best. It just means keep the thing in perspective. You've gotten through this as a qualifier instead of a competition, and the quote unquote character that you need to exhibit is one where you are mindful of what the big picture goal is for you. And if for you it was just qualifying at this stage, if you're there and you're in a place to do that, just seal the deal. Go out, give your best effort, give yourself the opportunity if you need it to do a repeat, but try to seal it in one shot so that you can put the stress to bed. 5 weeks is over, get yourself recovered, and then get back to training. All right, from an execution perspective, I really only saw 2 major things. I think this is a pretty straightforward workout. I think Kyle and Brandon did a great job just illustrating some of the workout strategy, tips, advice, setup type stuff that is true for all workouts. This has been repeated before. I think a lot of people have probably done this at training at some point, so there's not really that much to say. What I did notice is that people are observing somebody that does well and then trying to match that strategy for themselves. And I find that is extremely unhelpful in performing, because you have to really know how your system operates and how you can perform best. So the place that I saw this the most was the speed per rep with regards to thruster execution. Changing your thruster speed can make a dramatic difference in the amount of time that it takes to complete a set. However, it's also a dramatic difference in effort. So you can do fast reps, you can do slow methodical reps, then you can also do fast contraction speed down and up with a pause at the top with an extra breath to make sure that you can be moving less. So you're basically staying static, taking a breath at the top of the rep, but moving quickly when you are moving. Each one of those will play out differently from a fatigue perspective for each person. So if you go fast, you might be able to buy yourself a little bit more transition time, allow yourself to maybe take a little bit more breaks and still keep the total workload in the set of whatever set you're in, 12, 15, 18, 21. Keep that total set very similar to somebody that's going slow and methodically and unbroken. So play with your contraction speed and figure out for yourself, how do I operate best? Do I operate best going really fast and then taking more frequent breaks? Going really fast, doing all my work sets unbroken and transition more slowly, and set yourself up from a cognitive perspective in the workout that you feel like you can execute and deal with the fatigue best. If you're really good transitioning back and forth from one skill to another skill, but you don't really feel that equipped to move fast and do things unbroken, then move slow and more methodical, take more breaks within the work sets, and speed your transitions up. And there's a ton of different ways to chop that up for yourself. The other thing I would mention, I guess the second thing, is save for a final push. I know Noah broke in the 2 sets prior to the set that he failed in. So he failed in the 24s, and you'll notice in the commentary that in the 18s is where he started breaking up. I think that's actually a decent model for people. So if you're going to finish in the 15s, start breaking in the 9s. If you're going to finish in the 18s, start breaking in the 12s. And I think that's just a good starting point for most people, because that's when really the fatigue starts to set on, or you can feel, okay, like, things are really starting to get nasty. If you're going to end in the 9s, or if you have really bad chest to bars, that might not play out. But I think by doing this, you'll allow yourself at the end of the workout to finish with a really, really, really strong finish. And I think that was probably the one minor execution thing that I saw with regards to Noah, is that final set of thrusters, had he had the ability to finish a strong push there and not have gone out a little bit too hot, he would have been able to put out an even higher score on that workouts. So avoid those longer breaks in the end by breaking up somewhere earlier in the workout. I don't know how early that's going to be. I think it's going to be athlete dependent. I think also one of the things that I've seen a lot of people get hung up on, who thought they were going to do big unbroken sets of chest to bars, is that they waited and hesitated longer because they didn't lower the pull-up bar to make sure that it wasn't a high jump. And your brain is basically taking in all of the sensory information and how you're feeling to basically give you some sort of a green light to say, okay, you can do this work. So it's taking into consideration the jump to the pull-up bar, however many reps you're gonna have to do, and then the fall from the pull-up bar and the land, because it's gotta protect your entire system. It's not just, I'm gonna go do 3 pull-ups. The jump and the land still take energy. So lowering the pull-up bar to the lowest height that you can get it and still do chest to bars without your feet hitting would make the most sense from a performance standpoint. It'll slightly lower transition times, but I think also just from a mental perspective, it'll set you up in a place where you'll feel comfortable jumping up more quickly. And even if that means you're jumping up quickly and doing sets of 1 and sets of 2, taking away the transition time and taking away the rest time should do you well for an overall higher performance. So those are my tips for 18.5. I hope you crush it. Come back sometime in the next couple days or watch our YouTube page, and I'll give some final thoughts on the Open overall.